All right, week 16. We are roughly 4 months into this, and we are now talking about portfolios. A bit of a meta conversation, but one's very, very important because in working on your portfolio, you're doing two important things. One, you're creating this artifact that you can use to illustrate what you've done, both in person and asynchronously, so people can look at it on their own. The other thing you're doing is constantly refining how you talk about your work and practicing how you talk about and communicating your work. Very important thing to do. And so I think in many ways it's important, especially if you think more iteratively about things. You have a hard time getting one thing done perfectly, quote unquote, the first time. Portfolio development is a really great thing to work through, even if you are working on case studies that are potentially not published or exposed to the public. Every time you go back in and refine it and think about what you've learned, you are reconsidering the work that you've done, the importance of it based on who you've become over time, and reframing it based on how your goals have changed, how your objectives have changed, how your experience has changed. So it is kind of important to go back regularly and look at those important projects that still reflect something that maybe you would want to do in the future, and things that you've done in the past, to speak about your experience and to speak about what you're capable of doing, and even, frankly, to consider what you want to do in the future. There are a number of resources on IXDF that will support you in this. There are a number of resources everywhere, but IXDF just happens to have a number of articles. Frankly, you go to the search and you type in portfolio, you'll have all these listed in front of you, whether they're topics, articles, or classes. This particular, I don't know if they still have the previous portfolio class. It was very good and talked a lot about storytelling. But this Build Your Standout UX UI Portfolio course is also excellent. In many ways, I think it's very streamlined and helps you get very quickly to a portfolio as you work through the course. But both of them, if you have access to them, are very, very good courses, and really help you understand. One of the things I think we often forget as UX designers is that we spend so much time thinking about our users' needs, but sometimes fail to think of hiring managers and HR departments as our users in this sort of different line of work. So check them out. UX portfolios, interactive design portfolios is another topic that exists. There's a cool article here. So how to leverage your work to create lasting relationships in the UX world. That's very important and a lot of fun. And then here's an article, 7 portfolio mistakes that are costing you jobs. So it'd be good to go through this as a summary, I think, before you step into some of these deeper topics or even into the course. But all of these are solid bodies of information that can help you through your portfolio work, but also potentially through this week's set of challenges. So for day one, and what I would recommend is that for all of these, reference back to those topics to clarify things. Certainly use other websites, but don't hesitate to go into IXDF to look for topics on storytelling, portfolio development, storyboarding, journey mapping, everything that you'll need to complete this. IXDF most likely has an excellent resource to help you get up to speed and make meaningful output or meaningful change in your portfolio. So for day one, just refine one project. And this doesn't mean refine it to perfection. It just means to refine it. So choose a previous design and improve on it. Focus on visuals, clarity, layout, flow. Take a screenshot before and after to document your improvements. If you wanted to, you could take this up a level of abstraction and refine one of your case studies on your portfolio site. But it matters to go through this because strong work starts with strong execution. It's a chance to polish something that you're proud of, and to even communicate that you are continually thinking about how a design supports its original objective and its objective as things have changed over time. Day 2, build a case study or turn that piece of work into a case study. And remember that these challenges are oftentimes built to make it so that you can do a comprehensive body of work over a week, or you can use these as individual challenges. So take that refined project and write a one-page case study, or take a project that you haven't made into a case study yet that you've been meaning to, or you feel may represent the perfect work that you'd like to do in the future, and refine it and include all the steps like the problem, the process, key decisions, outcomes, and reflection. Also, again, look at those topics and see how they recommend the structure to build these out. Use plain language. Remember that the hiring managers are typically looking very quickly to see if you can do the work, but also tell a cohesive story at the same time. But it doesn't necessarily have to be poetic, and in fact, it will be challenging if it is poetic and not clear. If it is clear and poetic and has is approached with a sense of brevity, it will certainly be beneficial, but don't prioritize cleverness over clarity. Day 3, create polished mock-ups. So to prevent the work you've done in the best light, think about how you are visually communicating your case study. Choose 2 to 3 designs and create a portfolio ready visual. And this is for both aspects. So this could be in working through the refinements you made on day 1, not only how they look, but how you communicate them on the page in your portfolio site. But it could also be completely refining how you visually designed your case study from top to bottom, how you've illustrated it, and how you've communicated the basic ideas. Day 4, organize it. So plan or restructure your portfolio. This could be consider restructuring your portfolio. So step back and say, is this still a meaningful structure for people who are visiting me? Do I have appropriate flows into my portfolio content that make it easy for different people to achieve what they need to in my portfolio? So, for instance, one of the odd things I do in my portfolio is I have it set up such that I can query my case studies. So if I am looking to get some work in finance, I can very specifically query the finance case studies and put them on an individual page. It takes me maybe 5 minutes to put that together and test, and then I can send a direct link along with my main portfolio link to say, here's who I am, but here are case studies that you won't find on my main site that support finance specifically. But that's very specific to the type of work that I do. I do contract work, so I need to frequently communicate my different capabilities to different people. But think through it from your perspective. What does it mean for you to look for a job right now? What does it mean for you to maintain effective communication to hiring managers and HR at different companies? And even in your personal brand online, what does it mean for you to communicate all that to the external world and achieve the things that you need to? Day 5 is get feedback and plan next steps. So take the work that you've done, and frankly, you can have this work on this throughout the week as you make changes. But at a minimum, at the end, find some people to talk to and talk to them about the work that you've done and ask them, what's clear, what's compelling, what's missing. You can talk to your peers, you can talk to mentors. Take the notes, write down at least 2 action items, and reflect on how your portfolio feels now. As we mentioned at the beginning of this sort of intro to week 16, your portfolio is very much a living document. It's going to change over time. based on your understanding of the work that you've done, the work you're doing, the work that you hope to do. And it's something that you'll regularly update, either as an overhaul or making tweaks to case studies as you consider what you went through to achieve the work that you did. One of the struggles, I'll say personally, with UX work is that oftentimes I'm in there working very, very, very hard, and it's not until maybe months late after a project that I'm able to fully digest everything that occurred. So it's good to continually go back to your portfolio and just think, well, is this really communicating my current philosophical position on design, as well as what I experienced in that moment, as well as is it speaking to audiences that I need to speak to appropriately. So week 16, fun week if you are feeling overwhelmed with all of the direct work of the past 15 weeks, because you get to sit back and think about everything you've done and make some sense of it and communicate it to the outside world. I hope it's helpful. You do have the channel and the Discord channel for portfolio reviews if you want to post your work there for consideration. But should be exciting to go through, and I really do look forward to seeing everyone's work this week, partly because it has dual purpose. I get to see your portfolio and I get to see your work within your portfolio. Should be a lot of fun. Best of luck.